is Yelena from Amazonia PPC, and in today's episode, we have a very special guest today with us, Jason Landro from ZonRanker. He's the co-founder of ZonRanker tool. This is a fairly new tool that's specialized in streamlining the product launch process for other sellers. Especially if you have multiple launches per month, this can come in really useful. Jason, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today and to share a couple of more details about the product and in general some tips and advice that Amazon sellers might find useful for product launches.
Yes, hi Elena, thank you very much for having me, I appreciate it.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you mentioned that you're an Amazon seller, and if you could just tell us a little bit more about how you started and where you're at right now and how this tool came to be.
Yeah, so I was actually a lawyer or barrister, depending where you're from. About 2 years ago, I left my job at a big law firm to actually join a friend from law school in his growing Amazon business. We started a second Amazon business, which we were able to grow in the US market to a 7-figure Amazon business in its first calendar year, with actually fewer than 10 SKUs, all under $100, which is an average price of $50. So we're able to rapidly scale business, and we took what we learned in our own Amazon businesses and started helping other established larger businesses. And one of the things that we were really successful in doing was product launches, getting exposure quickly, and then making sure we were putting out good products and our clients have good products. So they had staying power once we got them to page one, desired keywords. But the process of doing all these product launches, setting up all the managed chat flows, verifying all the rebates, issuing all the rebates, became impossible. It just took way too much time. You're spending 10 hours a day at least. So figure out a better way to automate this product launch process, and that's how ZonRanker was born.
Awesome. How many products do you have in your brand?
In our one brand, the newer one, we have I think about 8 now. We'll be adding a few more this year. In our original brand, we have about 15 to 20.
And how many different products you had to test out before you actually found those 8 winners?
So when we started that business, our first product, we lost about $20,000. We tried to go after a very competitive product where there were sellers with thousands of reviews on page one. So we had to refine our strategy and regroup. We've obviously turned it around completely, but we had to test out 2 or 3 variations that were similar in ways, but different. But that brand is in the food category, so we decided to specialize a little more and find something that was, 1, that we were passionate about, and 2, that served a need.
Yeah, exactly. That's like 2 most important things to think about when you're doing product research, especially if it solves a problem then. Or if it feeds a passion. That's what I've discovered works really well for some people. Like if it's a niche product, it might work really well. But the reason why I asked if you had like any failed products is because, you get a lot of people hear all these success stories and people becoming millionaires on Amazon and all of that, but not very often you get to hear something like this when someone like lost 20,000 on just testing out and trying out and not giving up, and after not giving up, actually succeeding it. And that's, in my opinion, the success mindset is all about just not giving up and having this perseverance it takes to hold on. And especially if you have the passion in that niche, that'll help you stick to that idea. Definitely. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. My girlfriend was ready to kill me though. I left my job, my good paying job, and then had a big failure to start. So, but I agree, you have to keep pushing through, and also know when to cut your losses, but learn from your mistake.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, that's how Amazon works. It has this incredible potential of changing people's lives, but for the better or for the worse, it all depends how you use it. So I guess people should be careful and do their research first.
Right.
It'll save them a lot of money and nerves. So you decided to build this tool called ZonRanker. So can you tell us a little bit more about how it works and in just like a high-level overview of what the contribution, how can you provide value to sellers who have a lot of product launches per month?
Right. So if you're doing product launches, you know the purpose is to pick keywords that you want to rank on page one, and then you're doing these promotional rebates. So they're a full price buy. As Amazon sees it, and then you're rebating the customers on the back end. You're increasing your conversion rate on your pre-selected keywords, which then moves you up in the product rankings. So, you know, the way to do that is using Facebook ads and Facebook Messenger, but you have to set up flows. You have to verify rebates, or verify order IDs, verify shipment status. You have to issue rebates. That all takes a lot of time, and it's hard to do at scale. It's hard to do more than one of those at once. So what we've done is automate that entire process. We have a direct link URL. So if you're not you're not on the first few pages, you can use this link that takes you directly to the product, or we have a search, find, buy flow. So you plug in your information, you add your product photo, your product ASIN, and then you add your launch details, how many units each day, how many units in total, and your discount percentage and price, and your keywords. And then all of that information is dynamically populated in the flows that we've already created for you. So we have our own chatbot with flows, and we've launched hundreds of thousands of units through these flows at this point, and we update them constantly. So they're high converting. So you're responsible for setting up the Facebook ad, and copy and paste the code that we generate when you create a launch, and you paste it into the Facebook ad. It's very simple. And then the bot more or less takes care of everything else besides messaging, some follow-up questions from customers from time to time. So we bot automatically verifies order IDs, it checks shipment statuses every 4 hours, it issues rebates every 4 hours, a half an hour after the order status check. So it's doing all of that for you so that you no longer have to set up chat flows or verify order IDs or shipment statuses and issue rebates.
And does like an average user have at least the ability to change these flows a little bit according to the specifics of the audience that they're working with?
No, but the flows are generalized. So you put in your product description. So that's one of the things you add in every single product. So what you say about your product appears in the appropriate place in the flow. So, you know, if it says we have a 100% rebate offer on what you say about your product will appear in the flow. So it's generic in that it'll apply to any product, and then you can put in you're responsible for putting in the applicable descriptors about your product. So it all makes sense.
Okay, I think I understand how it works. That's for the two-step URL, but you also mentioned the search, find, buy sequence. How does that part work?
The setup is exactly the same. Nice thing is you can rotate keywords and weight keywords as well. So for instance, if you're launching a garlic press, you could put in garlic press twice and black garlic press one time. So as the first user comes in, will see garlic press. The second will be told to search for garlic press, and the image of your product will appear. That's the one you upload, and then they'll be looking for that image when they type it in the search bar. And the second person will get garlic press, and the third person will get black garlic press. So you can then weight more higher volume keywords so that you're getting more conversions on them. And then the long tail keywords, you can show less often. You're still getting the conversions, but you don't need as many. So it's a very nice tool or a very nice aspect of the tool. But it works the same in terms of the setup. So it's very simple.
Is there a way that you might show us how it looks like on the interface? Maybe share screen.
Yes, so I will share my screen with you. Second. So here, this is the home page. You log in. So you get your own account. You have your dashboard. We have a guided setup that will take you through connecting as many Facebook pages as you want. We have recommendations we have a help center where we recommend, we have everything, walk you through getting started, how to run Facebook ads and optimize your Facebook ads for Amazon product launches. We have articles about how the app works. We also have strategies for launches. We have recommendations about whether to run your offers through a deals page or through your branded page, and when it's appropriate to do, the deals page versus the branded page. But you can connect as many Facebook pages as you want, and then we walk you through connecting your Seller Central account so that we can verify the order IDs and order statuses for you. So I've done that. So this is your dashboard. We issue the rebates for you, so you deposit the rebate funds with us. And if you use ACH or your bank, it's just a low transaction fee. It's $6 US. So once your rebate funds are available, you can start a launch. The first step is to add a product. So as I mentioned before, you can put your product ASIN or ASINs. So if you have variations, like you're selling clothing, and they're the same price, you can let people choose between small, medium, and large. So you would put in the ASIN for the small, the ASIN for the medium, and the large. The internal name would be something for your reference. So if you're doing a group, you would put in in the short product description, this is what appears in the flow. So I would say a black sweater, any size, if you have only 3 sizes and you're doing small, medium, and large. And then you would choose to upload the file. And you can change this too. You can add as many products as you want. So that's a nice feature. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to actually paste in an ASIN to be able to go to the next step. It's going to make me upload a product image. I'll use the So once you've added your product, you can then create a launch. And here is where you select your product, your price, your
all
discount.
those fields you mentioned.
Yep. So you can do any percent you want. You can do 1% off to 100%. Units per day, your total units, internal reference name, and then you pick 2-step URL or search by buy. The max previous products. This is really nice. This is, by default, the app doesn't allow repeat purchases on the same ASIN unless you enable this. But it also defaults to allowing only people who've never claimed an offer from your Facebook page to claim an offer from you. But you can increase that. You can say if they've claimed 1 offer from you before on a different ASIN, they're allowed to claim this. Up to 2 offers from you before on a different ASIN, they can claim this one. So this is a very nice feature.
Especially if you're working with already existing audiences, people who like your page or something.
Yep.
Something like that.
This is what I'm talking about, the keyword weighting and keyword rotating. So you can weight black sweater 2/3 to 1/3. And it'll rotate these keywords as well. And then you pick your Facebook page. And we also have a review follow-up is what we call it, but it's a survey. And it starts 7 days after the first offer in your launch is claimed. And it basically confirms that the customer received the order. If they engage with that message, it then surveys the customer about the customer's experience. And those follow-ups are graduated. So they start out 1 a day, then they go up to 2 a day, they go up to 3 a day. So you're not getting a flood of requests. Instead, you're increasing the requests as your organic sales increase as a result of your launch.
Is there an option to like choose how the frequency and when the first follow-up will start?
No, but we've built a custom algorithm so that, because Amazon has automated thresholds. If you get too many reviews based on your total sales, so if it exceeds, some people think it's 15 or 20%, just kind of conventional wisdom, somewhere between.
That's what I heard, yeah.
So we're ensuring that's why it doesn't start until 7 days after the first offer is claimed. And that's why it increases for 1 a day, then 2 a day. So it's actually an algorithm based on the total number of units, the length of your launch. So we've, again, put a lot of time and testing into it and have never, ever had a problem. But you can actually disable it. It's enabled by default that you can just uncheck this box. And if your only purpose is to launch and you're not worried about the follow-ups or you don't want them, you can disable it on a launch-by-launch basis. Yep. And once you've done that, click submit. And this is where you just copy the ad JSON to your clipboard. And actually I have an ad open. This is for a garlic press, but you would just copy it in right here. And you can see this is the 100% rebate on the sweater, any size. Click get offer below. It's that simple. We have a lot of resources in our help center for you to train you on how to run Facebook ads for this purpose. If you have some experience, we have everything you need and more. If you don't have any experience, we have the resources for you to learn. We also are starting weekly Facebook ads trainings, live trainings for our members. That'll be starting on the 16th of January, I believe. So that'll help out too.
Awesome. Okay, you mentioned that you weight keywords, so that's a detail that stuck with me. How does this work?
So yes, so here the search terms: the black sweater, and sweater, and black sweater for women. So this is weighting it because you put it in twice, 2 times to 1 time, sorry. So these are weighted 66%, 0.6, and this is 33.3. So that for search for 2-step, that means it'll automatically, the link will use, out of every 3 times, the link will use black sweater twice and black sweater for women once. If it's searched by, the first person who comes through will be shown black sweater, the second person will be shown black sweater, and the third will be shown black sweater for women. And the reason this is really useful is because I bet black sweater, the search volume is extraordinarily high. With black sweater for women, it's probably not even half of the overall search volume as compared to black sweater. So I kind of, when I'm approaching anything on Amazon, I think, how would Amazon think about this? And it's usually pretty logical, right? So you want a proportionate increase. You don't want to just spike on one keyword. It would make more sense that you would, have this long tail keyword that includes your high volume keyword, but you don't need as many conversions to move up on this long tail keyword as you do on this high volume keyword. So that's the nice thing about weighting and rotating, is that you can show that balance, and it would make sense that if you're moving up for black sweater on women, you would also be moving up on black sweater, because black sweater is included in black sweater for women.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like any specific advice around choosing keywords for sellers?
Yeah, so that's one of the features that we're building into the app that we're really, really excited about. Is so right now we actually generate the reports for you manually once you're a member, but it's analyzing your ASIN and your competitor, your top 3 competitors' ASINs, and making recommendations about which keywords to go after, as well as the number of units to get to page 1 on those keywords. It's not a feature that's currently in the app, but it's one that we're building into the app and can do manually right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely necessary. A lot of the sellers base their product launch processes based on how many units they have to give away. Now, I mean, Amazon now recently stopped allowing giveaways as officially, like I think in December last year. So it's not officially there, but through these rebates, if you're doing 100% off, then basically that's a giveaway. So you have to officially sell a certain amount of units per day in order to get ranked. So I know that a lot of sellers would ask you how long it would take from day one when you set up this campaign until you start getting ranked on the first page for some of the core keywords that they want to be ranked for.
That's a tough question. It really depends on search volume and competition. The higher the search volume, the longer it takes. What we've seen is rotating keywords is really effective, and doing, so let's say you need to do 100 in total, spreading them out over a longer period of time, which shows consistency, seems to be working as well, as opposed to doing 10 a day for 10 days, and maybe doing 5 a day for 20 days might be a better approach.
I agree.
But it is entirely dependent on the search volume and relative competition. And that's one of the factors you have to evaluate in launching a new product. Product launches are sexy in that you can get traction quickly, but that's actually how we lost $20,000. We went after a product that had so much competition on the first page that we needed to get hundreds of reviews. And we also had an expiration issue where the shelf life on our product was just too short. We couldn't really get cheaper product, and then we got stranded. So it wasn't just the product launches, but we learned a lot. Yeah, you have to, I'm not, obviously I love this tool and we put a lot into building this, but it's not the right thing for every single product. You have to make sure that you're going to be profitable, that it's worth launching the page, putting the upfront investment to launch page 1. But on the other side, it's also a nice tool for moving your product from page 2 to page 1. So an established existing product, which we do a lot with a few of our products, is we do a launch every 2 months of 30 units to kind of boost our ranking a little bit.
Where I see value of this software is for bigger sellers who launch a lot of products and test out a lot of new products per month, and they just need a better way to streamline this whole process of working through rebates. Yes. And avoid all that manual work that's involved. And then they can release all that additional time and maybe invest it into customer support, which is some of the weakest points that I hear the sellers have in their processes and systems. It's almost always not included when it comes to like customer support or something like that, because they have to spend so much time in doing all this administrative work. Right. So I definitely see the value in it. And for some products, like for example, I've seen when you mentioned the competitive products and that someone has to think through the whole process before they even enter it. Like I've seen some of the products work after a couple of months being extremely unprofitable, and then you just leave them to Amazon's algorithm. Just decrease the price and then be patient over a course of a couple of weeks, and then they start selling 1-2 units a day, and then 2-3 units a day, and then it ramps up, and then this product starts selling even without doing PPC or Facebook ads or anything else. But it took time and still doesn't reach its full potential in terms of revenue the way that some sellers might want it to have it. But it's one way to go. And then there's another way, like for example, for my own product, as I'm also selling on Amazon, we have a very seasonal character to that product. So we kind of like latched on to the Q4 momentum where a lot of people were purchasing for other people. And there's this big season of everyone buying everything on Amazon, and we just kind of like latched onto that increased traffic, which built a good momentum for our own product, which took something about 2 months. We didn't use rebates or anything. We sold at a full price, and it still works. So I guess that for tools like these, they can be really, really awesome if someone has a higher volume of units that they have to manage somehow, but still save time in terms of workforce or being able to release their own time.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And we've had some beginner sellers reach out to us, and I've actually told them, there are better options to start out where you can conserve your money. Launches can be a great way to get traction very quickly, but there is the upfront cost. You pay for the rebate, you get, so you're basically eating the product cost and the Amazon fee, and then getting back your net profit. So there's that. In addition to whether you're paying a per unit fee for a launch service or using our software and paying a fee, as well as the ad spend. So there are these costs that you can recuperate, but if you're a new seller and you only have 1 or 2 products, there are other strategies that don't require the upfront investment, but that take, as you said, take a little longer and require you to be patient, but it's smarter financially.
Yep, it is. And it also saves a lot of time to sellers who are more experienced and know this process from scratch and know how it looks like and how long it takes when you're doing it manually, so they can actually understand the value in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So when in terms of pricing structure, I can see that there's some credit-based pricing structure, and I wanted to ask you how exactly it works, and simply put, how can someone calculate, predict the spend they
Yes.
invest?
So the way we work is on a credit system. So 1 credit equals 1 unit to launch. So on the professional plan, you get 25 credits a month. We call these base credits. And these credits, if you don't use them, they roll over. So the credits are as low as $2 and they're as high as $4. So the more you buy at once, the cheaper they are. And any credits that you purchase never expire. So as long as you're a member, they keep on rolling over. So you get these 25 base credits each month. That's the $4 credit price. And if you don't use them, they roll over. So if you're only doing 75 units every 3 months, then they would roll over. And then we pay the PayPal transaction fee for you. So as I mentioned before, you deposit the rebate, you have to pay the transaction fee by credit card, or you can do an ACH deposit. And we're switching over to Braintree as our payment processor, which is owned by PayPal. So later this year, you'll be able to deposit with PayPal as well. But the transaction fee for ACH is much lower. Obviously, it's $6. So if you buy in bulk, you save for the credits. And if you need if you have more than 1 seller account, you have to contact us. If you want customized flows, we can do that. That's part of the enterprise plan. And for the agencies who are using our software, the biggest benefit is that you're able to aggregate your credits across all of your accounts every month, so that you're paying a flat fee, but just meeting a minimum essentially.
Mm-hmm. I see. So if I understood correctly, under $99 per month, you can actually launch 25 products.
Correct. 25 units, yep.
Units, okay. You mentioned also that your all of your systems are compliant with terms of service. So do you have like any specific advice for sellers what they should pay attention to in order to stay compliant with terms of service?
Yes. So one, never condition the rebate on a review. So the flows that we have do not condition rebate on review. They don't even mention the word review from the time the customer enters the flow, from the time that they get the rebate. And that is the biggest thing by far. You shouldn't be launching a product if you don't have a good product. Product launches aren't a solution for a bad product. So your point of a product launch is to increase your conversion rate, but also get more exposure. So if you need to condition your rebate on a review, that probably means you have a bad product and shouldn't be doing product launches, and it also violates Amazon's terms of service. There's a concept called reciprocity. If you do something,
I agree.
People reciprocate and be more inclined to be positive and leave you feedback. So if you're giving someone a rebate on a good product, then they're going to be much more inclined to just leave you a nice review.
I agree. In general, you have to think about good quality products, building good quality products if you're building your brand to last. Otherwise, it's just not going to work long term.
Right.
Whichever method you use.
Exactly.
Okay. You also mentioned a couple of features that you will roll out in the next 6 months. Is there anything else that you intend on rolling out?
Yeah, so we're building in again those recommendations for birds and the amount of units to launch to get to page 1. We're also building in keyword tracking that you can see the progress of your launches. We're building in some ads automation. So right now we have this automated daily giveaway counter so that if you do 10 units a day and when you hit number 10, you'll actually get an email notification that'll tell you, hey, all your units for the day have been claimed. You may pause your Facebook ad if you'd like, but we're actually going to build an ad automation that pauses it for you. You can check that option. And the nice thing actually when that happens is that anyone who comes into the flow, even if you leave your ad on or if it's shared, they'll be given the option to be notified the next day when more offers are available. So you're not wasting that person coming through. That's all automated. So we're building in ads automation, the keyword tracking, the recommendations. And right now we're only available in the US market, but we'll be expanding to other English-speaking markets in 2020, and depending on our growth, hopefully to non-English speaking markets after that. But I don't have a timeline for non-English speaking markets at this point.
Okay, interesting updates, especially the one for tracking your ranking for specific keywords. That will be super useful for people using this tool to actually understand how it contributes to their success. Definitely see the value in that, especially because all of there are also other software that where you can actually track your progress over time. So this is going to be specifically useful with product launches.
Yeah, I do want to say anyone who's out, that keyword tracking will be included as part of the $99 a month. So when we roll out some of these new features, the price might increase it at some point, but anyone who signs up now before we make that increase will be grandfathered in at the $99 a month.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, and in general, when it comes to product launches now, outside of speaking about the tool, just in general, what is your experience about with the rebates, and does it still work as well as it did in 2019 for you?
Yes, yeah, definitely. We're not too far into 2020 yet, but
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of last year, it worked really well for us. We actually did a lot of launches right before the heart of Q4 for Christmas and the holidays, and they were very, very effective. And I think one of the trends is doing less than 100%, and that's a nice thing about our software is that you can do that. You have the flexibility to connect your multiple Facebook pages and to do different rebate percentages. So I think if you're more focused on reviews sticking, it's better to warm up your audience, like sending them to an article that's related to the problem your product solves, and then marketing them with a rebate offer for the solution that is your product. So like if you sell diet food, you tell them, you send them to an article about the diet and how it takes a long time to prepare all these foods, and then you target the people who engage with that ad with a 50% rebate offer on your product. That can be very, very effective, and those reviews will be more likely to stick long term.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's just about taking different approaches to doing product launches. Like, I know for sure that Amazon will also favorize those listings that drive external traffic from external sources to Amazon, because this also, I can see that there's added value in that, even though conversion website traffic are not going to be as high as when you do them through, search find by sequence, but still, I would still always use like a combination of both, and other types of traffic, especially coming from influencers that already have their existing audiences, something that you're probably already familiar with.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a great recommendation to have multiple external traffic sources. Amazon does weight all of that, so it is really important, and at the end of the day, they want you to spend money to get customers spending money on Amazon's platform, so that they'll give preference to sellers who are doing that.
Yeah, that's number one reason, but also they want to be, it's basically like a backlink. It works like a backlink to Amazon, which then raises their own ranking on Google. And they're just like a website. I mean, they're a platform, but at the same time, they still want to be ranked for as many millions of searches that they have products in. So it all makes a lot of sense. Okay. Anything else you would like to add in terms of advice or any tips that you have for sellers in general?
I just think that what we talked about in the beginning, making sure that you're passionate and about your product and scaling responsibly and effectively with a plan is really the best advice for the beginners, and on the people who are more advanced is getting out of the day-to-day of your business and being able to grow it. And that's why we really built this tool. It's nice because it's diverse it can help beginners as well as the advanced sellers. But that's something that we've focused on throughout 2019 is automating our business with SOPs, with ZonRanker, and because if you're in the day-to-day too much, you can't focus on growth.
That's absolutely true, and it's repetitive. Like, for example, I know the difference when I work with some starter level sellers versus professional sellers who've been selling for years and really grown their accounts. The difference is that really big sellers already have systems and processes in place that are very well defined and documented, and people who stick to it, like a team that's a very coherent team that really sticks to their operating procedures. Some of them are more perfect, some of them need improvement, but they're always there for people who are successful on Amazon. So that would be also like an added advice from my end, to start documenting everything you do and think in that direction of streamlining the process, especially for the things that you do on a day-to-day basis multiple times, like rebates, for example.
Yes.
Okay, Jason, thank you for being a guest on our today's interview. If anyone has any questions about the tool, you can reach out to Jason Landro and ask him directly, and he'll be happy to answer any of that. And thank you for watching today's episode.
Thank you very much for having me.